Hello everyone, my name is Anushka Saxena and in this video we will continue reading chapter 18 of class 11 biology, that is body fluids and circulation. Let's get into the video. 18.4 Double circulation. The blood flows strictly by a fixed route through blood vessels, the arteries and veins. Basically, each artery and vein consists of three layers: an inner lining of squamous endothelium, the tunica intima, a middle layer of smooth muscle and elastic fibers, the tunica media, and an external layer of fibrous connective tissue with collagen fibers, the tunica externa. The tunica media is comparatively thin in the veins. As mentioned earlier, the blood pumped by the right ventricle enters the pulmonary artery, whereas the left ventricle pumps blood into the aorta. The deoxygenated blood pumped into the pulmonary artery is passed on to the lungs, from where the oxygenated blood is carried by the pulmonary veins into the left atrium. This pathway constitutes the pulmonary circulation. The oxygenated blood entering the aorta is carried by a network of arteries, arterioles, and capillaries to the tissues, from where the deoxygenated blood is carried by a system of venules, veins, and vena cava and emptied into the right atrium. This is the systemic circulation. The systemic circulation provides nutrients, O2, and other essential substances to the tissues and takes CO2 and other harmful substances away for elimination. A unique vascular connection exists between the digestive tract and the liver called hepatic portal system. The hepatic portal vein carries blood from intestine to the liver before it is delivered to the systemic circulation. A special coronary system of blood vessels is present in our body exclusively for the circulation of blood to and from the cardiac musculature. 18.5 Regulation of cardiac activity. Normal activities of the heart are regulated intrinsically, that is, auto-regulated by specialized muscles, also called nodal tissue. Hence, the heart is called myogenic. A special neural center in the medulla oblongata can moderate the cardiac function through autonomic nervous system, ANS. Neural signals through the sympathetic nerves part of ANS can increase the rate of heartbeat, the strength of ventricular contraction, and thereby the cardiac output. On the other hand, parasympathetic neural signals, another component of ANS, decrease the rate of heartbeat, speed of conduction of action potential, and thereby the cardiac output. Adrenal medullary hormones can also increase the cardiac output. 18.6 Disorders of circulatory system. High blood pressure, hypertension. Hypertension is the term for blood pressure that is higher than normal, which is 120/80. In this measurement, 120 mmHg, millimeters of mercury pressure, is the systolic or pumping pressure, and 80 millimeters of mercury pressure is the diastolic or resting pressure. If repeated checks of blood pressure of an individual is 140/90 or higher, it shows hypertension. High blood pressure leads to heart diseases and also affects vital organs like brain and kidney. Coronary artery disease, CAD. Coronary artery disease, often referred to as atherosclerosis, affects the vessels that supply blood to the heart muscle. It is caused by deposits of calcium, fat, cholesterol, and fibrous tissues, which makes the lumen of arteries narrower. Angina. It is also called angina pectoris. A symptom of acute chest pain appears when no enough oxygen is reaching the heart muscle. Angina can occur in men and women of any age, but it is more common among the middle-aged and elderly. It occurs due to conditions that affect the blood flow. Heart failure. Heart failure means the state of heart when it is not pumping blood effectively enough to meet the needs of the body. It is sometimes called congestive heart failure because congestion of the lungs is one of the main symptoms of this disease. Heart failure is not the same as cardiac arrest, which is when the heart stops beating, or a heart attack when the heart muscle is suddenly damaged by an inadequate blood supply. Summary: vertebrates circulate blood, a fluid connective tissue in their body, to transport essential substances to the cells and to carry waste substances from there. Another fluid, lymph, which is also called tissue fluid, is also used for the transport of certain substances. Blood comprises of a fluid matrix, plasma, and formed elements. Red blood cells, also called RBCs or erythrocytes, white blood cells, also called WBCs or leukocytes, and platelets, also called thrombocytes, constitute the formed elements. Blood of humans are grouped into A, B, AB, and O systems based on the presence or absence of two surface antigens, A, B, on the RBCs. Another blood grouping is also done based on the presence or absence of another antigen called rhesus factor, RH, on the surface of RBCs. The spaces between cells in the tissues contain a fluid derived from blood called tissue fluid. This fluid, called lymph, is also almost similar to blood except for the protein content and the formed elements. All vertebrates and a few invertebrates have a closed circulatory system. Our circulatory system consists of a muscular pumping organ, heart, a network of vessels and a fluid, blood. Heart has two atria and two ventricles. Cardiac musculature is auto-excitable. Sinoatrial node SAN generates the maximum number of action potentials per minute, that is 70 to 75 per minute, and therefore it sets the pace of the activities of the heart. Hence it is called the pacemaker. The action potential causes the atria and the ventricles to undergo contraction, that is systole, followed by their relaxation, that is diastole. The systole forces the blood to move from the atria to the ventricles and to the pulmonary artery and the aorta. The cardiac cycle is formed by sequential events in the heart which is cyclically repeated and is called the cardiac cycle. A healthy person shows 72 such cycles per minute. About 70 ml of blood is pumped out by each ventricle during a cardiac cycle, and it is called the stroke or beat volume. Volume of blood pumped out by each ventricle of heart per minute is called the cardiac output, and it is equal to the product of stroke volume and heart rate, which is approx 5 liters. The electrical activity of the heart can be recorded from the body surface by using electrocardiograph, and the recording is called electrocardiogram ECG, which is of clinical importance. We have a complete double circulation, that is, two circulatory pathways, namely pulmonary and systemic, are present. The pulmonary circulation starts by the pumping of deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle, which is carried to the lungs where it is oxygenated and returned to the left atrium. The systemic circulation starts with the pumping of oxygenated blood by the left ventricle to the aorta, which is carried to all the body tissues, and the deoxygenated blood from there is collected by the veins and returned to the right atrium. Though the heart is auto-excitable, its functions can be moderated by neural and hormonal mechanisms. Here we have completed the chapter. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.